This is Curtis coming at you from East Bread Studios once again, getting the last little bit of coverage before the Dolphins' gigantic game against the Titans this Sunday and the turn of the new year, 2022. When I was a kid, 1999, Prince had the song. It was a big deal. I never thought 1999 was going to come, much less 2000, 2010, 2020. We're in 2022. Sad to say, I'm still waiting for my Dolphins to win a Super Bowl. Maybe this is the year. Maybe next year. But this game is tremendous. I put a lot of tape together. I had some kind of grander plans, but it got deviated a little bit. Started answering a lot of comments. In the comments section, I had mentioned, I thought Waddle, spending 2 picks on him, was a little exorbitant considering where we're at now on the offensive line. I thought we could have got more value, maybe Slater or Parsons or something like that. And some people got upset, which, that's what fans about. And it's really nice to see people passionate about their team. I understand I spent a lot of time answering comments, trying to get my point across. And then as I was going over the tape, I was like breaking down this, breaking down that, and showing everything. At a certain point, I said, what am I explaining it for? I let the last 2 minutes or 3 minutes just kind of run for visuals. The first part really sets up everything you see at the end. And it was like I was repeating myself. And the point is, Tua, maybe he's going to end up being the next Drew Brees. Maybe he's not. However you slice it, the kid has Swiss cheese in front of him. It's the 45th best offensive line in football. I say that as a mockery, not to the players. They're playing hard. It's a brutal sport. It's not about mocking them, but the play is so bad. And for me, my focus is our offensive line versus their defensive line. I had failed to mention our defense in the last podcast. I was covering it in this one. I have some film of Tannehill where maybe you haven't seen him play in a while, where he's at. I have a little film of Jeffery Simmons. Those are the 2 keys for me. Our defense can win any game. But if you go back and look from week 1 until now, as our time of possession increased and was parallel to our opponent or exceeded it, our defense suddenly sprung up. It wasn't the primary reason, but it was a main reason. And as I had said all season early on, touches, running the football touches, is the easiest way to get time of possession. And once we started doing that, the defense came to life, and so actually did the offense. Last week we played the Saints. They had good players on that defense, but they were also stripped down on both sides of the ball. And the film that I'm going to go over today is us going against a defense on the field a lot, missing their entire linebacker core without an offense backing it. Some stellar players, don't get me wrong, but when you see our offensive line, and the good news is Tua's ability to manage disaster. Again, I don't know what this kid's going to be. I'm not seeing into the future. I'm just looking at the tape. This kid has the worst offensive line in football. Somebody, you have one stat. Dude, I'll sit down and have an hour-long discussion with you, show you plenty of film, plenty of stats, and all this other stuff. Basic stat, we run 12 personnel, 2 and sometimes 2.5 times more than the rest of the league. That means we're playing with 2 tight ends and keeping them in to block a lot on the run game and the pass game, more than anybody. We're bringing more help to this offensive line, and they still are terrible. But Tua's ability to manage this disaster is a good sign. Then you look at the rest of the stuff, you see he's got mistakes and he's got foibles. No one's perfect. And says, look, have you seen Joe Burrow play? He's doing awesome, and he'll have some bad moments. We got to let this kid develop, but the offensive line is going to keep him healthy, and it's going to give him the best framework. For me, my evaluation, my belief is trenches out. The only time you don't is if you go get that quarterback, and then because it's so valuable. Other than that, The trenches set the table for everything. So if I have a different evaluation than you and I'm wrong, you can come back and say, I was right. And I'll say, you know what? You were right. I have done it many times. And this is why I answer all these comments, because I believe in dialogue. I don't care if I'm wrong. I just want to get to right at some point. Now, I hope that I am wrong about this offensive line. I've set this offensive line up in my mind as being the key to the season. This game, it's going to come down to can Waddle and Tua pass their way past a poor offensive line. If they can, excellent. I'm happy. I just want Shula honored and see the historic turnaround for the Dolphins. But if we struggle because of this offensive line, or bad things happen because of this offensive line, it's going to be a very portent for things going forward, because we have no tackles on the team. We've missed with big pieces to get offensive linemen. But I believe I can be wrong. So this game is a perfect litmus test for the two opposing philosophies. One, you really don't need that good of an offensive line. As long as you got the skills, they can make it happen. Or you need a quality not great, but a quality offensive line to set the table for everything. This is the beauty about football. My evaluations and your evaluations, they're going to meet reality. And all really it comes down to is just learning. And that's what this thing is about. This is what I do here. I'm no guru. I don't attempt to be a guru, don't want to be a guru. I'm just a guy who presents his opinion, presents tape, presents evaluations, presents facts, and listens. And through a community conscious mind, try to do better in my evaluation tomorrow than I did today. So, much ado. Maybe some of you guys don't want to see Tannehill where he's at, or Jeffery Simmons. You want to see how Tua survived the 45th best offensive line last week, and how critical pieces on the offensive line and the offensive line itself played. That'll be the second film. The first film is going to be our opponents, because as the Godfather said, keep your friends close, but keep your enemies closer. So let's take a look at Jeffery Simmons and Ryan Tannehill, how they performed last week against the 49ers, so we can kind of get a visualization of where they're at as players. So let's take a look at the tape and see what we see. All right, you can see Jeffery Simmons is a powerful man. He looks like a bodybuilder, but his pass rush moves a little limited. He's got the shoulder dip and really the bull rush and not much else. And a little slow because he's so big, but not like molasses on a cold winter's day, uphill slow. But Simmons, man, he's so powerful. Laken Tomlinson is a pretty good player. Probably maybe like top 10, and watch him just get lit up like a Christmas tree. Just imagine what he's going to do to Jackson. This is what really concerns me. You see, it was almost a pick there. I could see something similar happening just like that to Miami if they're not patient, wise. You see Simmons here. Yeah, he's a big body dude, but he's not unathletic. I mean, this is a nice track down of a screen to get in on it. He's just so big, dude. I mean, he's like a modern Sue. He's not as well built, but he's pretty close. He's got a little bit of athleticism to him, which makes him a little more dangerous than just your average big run stopper. But you can see here, he's just very difficult to move. Can you see? Look at this. I mean, Tomlinson is serious business as a guard, and he just gets, look at this. Top 10 guard, just destroyed. I mean, that's total destruction. And Tannehill, he's improved a lot. You could see Guy's got a pretty good arm, velocity to fit it in there. He's got good ball location, and he's very gutsy. That was a very gutsy pass, and you'll see many of those. He's willing to take risks, and, you know, sometimes it does hurt him, but he's been making more plays, poor throws. But because he gets a limited amount of throws, and he does take risks, occasionally you get something like this, where he forces it in there, and, you know, that could have been caught, maybe should have been caught, but that's the kind of play that we can make our hay on. Ball goes in the air, and we got some really good receiving secondary, and I get picked off. So there's opportunity for that too. Again, Tannehill, you can see him. He's got great chemistry with his receivers, and this is a very nice out route. 15 yards down the field, 20 when you consider the drop back. Kid's got an arm. I mean, he always did have a pretty good arm. This was a very nice throw. Watch him. He's got somebody in his face, and he's a lot more calm under pressure than he has been. You know, then we kind of remember him as a Dolphin, but that was one nice throw. That's going to put a lot of pressure on this defense. But here you go. This is still the same old Tannehill in certain regards. He's not a high volume thrower, and he just has a tendency to be a little erratic. You know, there's just something in that developmental stage he might have missed being a receiver, and he sets up nice. He's got a good, I don't know what it is, but that should have been easy reception, but he gets a couple of those. So this is another area where if we turn him into a high volume thrower, this could be the key to open up the golden gate for us. Tannehill, though, you know, despite some inconsistencies and a little bit of hiccups here and there, I mean, again, that tight window throw, he trusts himself, he trusts his arm, and he's very comfortable in the system. That's another nice throw. And this offensive line has the ability to give him time. Again, look at here. You know, he's been sacked a lot, but that happens when really kind of early on when they would ask him to be a high-volume thrower. But they've found a better rhythm the last couple of weeks as far as having a running game still without Henry and getting him involved, but not over-involved. Again, look at this. Look right over the defender's head. That was a beautiful pass. And, you know, he is dangerous as a passer. If it's a game of high-volume throws, well, not so much. Setting up the throw, able to make that move, and look at that. Look at this throw on the move, going back the other direction, and putting it right there. That's an A-class throw. And watch this throw. This one is my favorite on the day. This was such a beautiful throw. I mean, he's able to fit through those windows. He just has a good sense of windows, you know, when they're not closed. And they might appear closing, but that is one special throw, man. Beautiful throw. All right, you could see Jeffery Simmons does lack pass rush ability. He's got a very simplistic pass rush skill set. He's got the dip, he's got the bull rush, and that's really it. And he doesn't really have a great amount of speed. He's got good speed for a guy who's pretty big. But his power is high end. And it's good. Austin Jackson's problem last year, his main problem, which is so weird because he's got more problems this year than last year, was the bull rush. He couldn't handle power. That's carried over, and he's added other issues. Inside a guard, you need to handle the bull rush first. That's a primary skill set. And Jeffery Simmons, I expect to be over him a lot. It'll be if Austin Jackson pulls this off, then the door's open to a lot of stuff. He can, but I don't like the odds. Eichenberg, to me, is in a way worse spot. Dieter is a good pass protector, but he struggles a lot with power and in the run game. So these three players, to me, are going to determine whether Tua gets the pass, whether we can be balanced, whether Waddle's going to get the ball. And if they can just maintain and allow some things to go through them, because their defense is susceptible to rack yards after the catch. They are a little unathletic because they're bigger. And so Waddle could be that game breaker. He could be the guy to take this game. And it's probably the biggest game of this franchise. So I do believe Waddle can prove to be the guy who can set the table without the offense and along with Tua. Because you could see, you'll see in the next film that I do, what Tua is able to do with very little. And then on the other hand, Ryan Tannehill, I got to give the guy his respect. I've been writing for Phins News, and one of his family members came out to me when he left the team. He's like, listen, man, we love the coverage you guys did, but, now he's going to a different team. I'm going to unsubscribe. And I'm like, what a nice guy, dude. And he's like, thank you for everything you did. We love it. He didn't have to do any of that. They're good people. He was a good guy on his team who wasn't handled right, who wasn't taken care of. He could have been much better. Is he an elite quarterback? No. Is he a high volume thrower? No. But the kid, as you saw in the tape, his poise has improved. I know there's all these other stats, but you got to remember there's a lot of variables into it too. And his arm is good. His ball location is good. And he fits this team perfectly. He doesn't fit every team. He doesn't. And people would always say, because Henry's there, but they've been winning without Henry, with him at the helm, because he's just a piece of the puzzle. The kid's doing good. I don't want to see him win today, but I like to see the kid win because he's a good kid. He's got a good family. But he's going to be a difficulty for us if we can't generate pass rush and they get the ball running and they stop us from running. Now, none of this is written in stone. We have to see how it plays out. So now I want to get into the tape of, okay, we know we're going to have to put some points on. Last week we put 13 on against a wounded Saints team. We're going to have to probably do around that or a little bit better, probably around 20 to win this game. So what was our offensive line looking like against the Saints to prepare us to evaluate what they're going to look like against the Titans, who are far more manned defense than the Saints were? Saints do have better ends than the Titans, but the Titans will have 3 levels of quality players. They're healthy and they're rested. And this will play out. And the Dolphins' offensive line needs to be not great, just good enough. So let's take a look at that tape and look at what we got on the offensive line, but also what Tua is able to do when it breaks down. Kid played pretty good. Anyway, let's take a look at the tape and see what we see. Now, remember, there's a slow motion quick throw. And look right there. I mean, he's throwing the football in less than 3 seconds, and the pocket's already destroyed. I mean, half a second more, quarter second more, and he's getting blasted. It's going to keep looking like this all day. Eichenberg and Jackson can't handle the double, and boom, watch his legs. You see that multiple times today. So look at how Eichenberg is bent at that angle. There is no balance there. That is some of the worst technique I've ever seen. And you just get the swim move over that. He has the run. Now, Duke is a good player, and I like his physicality, but sometimes he's not patient enough. And he doesn't pick up that Davis is going to peel off. And so he bends it back. It would have opened up. This would have been a nice hole if he just hit it hard. He was a little lack of patience on this one. Not an easy to be patient in that circumstance. So they come back, get the run, and you see Jackson trying to fight over here, but he goes no. He's totally controlling Jackson. What do you think Jeffery Simmons is going to do to this dude? No pass play. There's a lot to talk about on this play, but just take a focus on Jackson for a second, and you're going to see this all the time. Look, they're doing a stunt, and he always bites like this. And then a guy comes in behind him. This is, and watch, boom, Tua gets hit again. Jackson always bites, over pursues. Look at him. Where's he going? I mean, he gets the ball. And this is the one where they're complaining about Tua. This is where Greasy is complaining about Tua not getting the ball off. He needs to deliver the ball, they're saying. Not that Jackson totally whiffed on the stunt. How is he supposed to get this ball off like this? It's not possible. A run to nowhere. Nothing's going nowhere. Look at this. Nothing. The line of scrimmage wasn't even moved. Here we go. Another pass. Oh, watch Eichenberg just driven straight back along with Hunt. And watch, he's got to get this ball off. He's already getting hit. And this is a quick throw, man. This is quick. How many plays have we been at so far where he's been hit or pressured? Now the pass play, you can see Eichenberg's already beat. Look, there's no way with this foot. Look at his footwork. There's no way. And Jackson is just by himself, standing there like, what's going on? And look at Jackson. He's looking to the left. And he's looking to the left, and the guy from the right just goes right past him and swims past him and then gets in the way in the pass. And Tua still manages to get the ball off and deliver it into a fairly tight window. This was an excellent pass. Look at this. Watch. This is terrible. This is so bad. Eichenberg, look at Eichenberg's stance here. Look at his set. There's no way you block anybody. And watch Jackson. He's looking. He's watching the show. And this guy just gets right past him. Bam! And look at how close that ball was to being deflected. Again, the run with Phillips. He's got nowhere to go. He bends back. Pass rush here again. Jackson doing what he always does. Misses the switch and swap. And Tua delivers, but takes a shot. Watch this. You go, bang. What's happening? What is Jackson going to do? He gets inside, loses his footing, overcommits, and the guy just runs past him. Then he's got to hold him. And Tua gets it off and takes the shot. Not too hard of a shot, but still. Again, here we go. He's got to step up. Gets blasted. Watch, how do they do it? The good old stunt. Watch this. Bang, inside. Bang. Neither Eichenberg nor Jackson could do anything. Inside run. Watch this. So you get this handoff, and 91 just goes right for the quarterback. Null hit. How many times has Tua been hit so far? Watch this. You don't want this. And this is what they'll do. They purposely are told to hit the quarterback so they don't do it again. This is an old tactic. I was going through that tape and I'm like, talking. I'm like, at a certain point, I'm like, what am I talking for? I was going to go over all the run game. And, because some people are like, come on, man, show us something good with this offensive line. There were good snaps. Austin Jackson had a couple of good snaps. Eichenberg had a couple of good snaps. Everybody had some good snaps. But in football, it's not about your great plays. And it's not even about your bad plays. It's the consistency with which you do either that determines what kind of play you are and how you can be used for a team. Eichenberg is consistently poor. You saw him, he leans forward, he's got short arms, his feet don't work right, he doesn't slide really well. Jackson, he gets beat on power, he chases stunts time after time, he gets lost when things are go on. These two are playing next to each other, and then Dieter is pretty good, but he cannot really run block. He gets destroyed. There was a lot of film in there left. I was just like, I can't even show this. Doesn't mean that they can't win this game, guys. This is not what I'm saying. I'm trying to evaluate. They beat the Saints. They've gone 7 in a row with the same offensive line, but the matchups are going to be tough. And this is why I say a victory here, despite this offensive line, says volumes about what this team's about. And even these offensive quarters, because they can mask this and play around it. And if they win here, I truly believe they can beat just about any team in this league. I really do, because it's such a tall task. But as people have said, this defense, if Ryan Tannehill has to become a volume thrower, Ryan Tannehill melts down and throws a couple of picks, everything changes. But you can't bank on that. Even though this defense is pretty good, they get lots of turnovers, way more than it's usual. This team knows Ryan Tannehill in and out intimately. So there is opportunity despite this poor offensive line, but we've got to come to a realization that we have a very deep problem on offensive line. And Tua is showing some stuff. There's no other quarterback in this league, rookie or not, that has this kind of offensive line play, that's going in with absolutely green receivers, offensive coordinators on top of that. This does not mean he's going to the Hall of Fame or he's elite, but it does show something good to build on with a bunch of other stuff. He's got things he needs to fix, but we also have to be honest at the things he's doing right. This gives us a great opportunity come this week because things are not going to go right. And if he can manage his way through, if this offensive line can protect just enough, and Tannehill can make some mistakes, and his defense can force him into those mistakes, we can win and have a beautiful, beautiful new year. I am hoping, Fin fans. So please understand me, what I'm trying to do here. And understand that my evaluations aren't my hopes. I'm trying to be honest. I'm trying to show the tape. And if I have a different opinion than you, just as if you have a different opinion with me, it doesn't really, it's not a bother to me. It's just difference of opinions. The great Don Shula has been wrong. Lombardi has been wrong. If you're wrong, it's okay. If I'm wrong, I'd like to think it's okay too. Let's hope I'm wrong here, because all I want is this win. That's all I want. So anyway, thank you for subscribing and liking and commenting. We're almost at 5K. Let's give it all the magic we got. Let's pray that Don Shula can get a real honoring from the season. And I thank you guys for your comments, especially when you disagree with me. And I thank you for everything through this year up until this point, and I'm sure hopefully beyond. This is the big one, and I'm very excited. So thank you for staying to the end. Please like, comment, subscribe. comments. You know my deal. Subscribes and likes help us the Google overlords. Getting nervous. My fan side's coming out early. Whew. Anyway, catch you next time. Hopefully it's after a W. This is Curtis saying, be well and go, go, go Phins. Start building your own online sportsbook today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.